Hi, my name's Steve Young. I work for Astronics, formerly Diagnosis. This is a short presentation to show you how to search for datasheet. It's one of the more popular questions that I get asked when I do my training. So here we go. Here's a board that we have in our workshop a little while ago. As you can see, it's got a few ICs on it. And if we zoom in, we can see several components. We see the CD4001, that's a CMOS logic device. Down here we see an SG1543J, an analog kind of device. We have an LM555, which is a trusty timer. And here we have a PMI OP207. So these are typical devices that you will find on your PCBs in your workshop. So how do we find a data sheet for those devices? So the first thing we do is go to our test view program and we need to check in our library. So we go to our libraries tab, we click our libraries tab, and then we go to our device menu, and then we click browse devices. So when we click browse devices, here we can enter our part number. Now, part numbers can cause a bit of confusion, and here's a tiny rule of thumb that I usually find helps in this sort of situation. So here we see a typical TTL device, an SN74L LS245. So generally, the bit at the front, the prefix, is the manufacturer, simply the manufacturer. The suffix, the little letters on the end of the device, usually indicates the type of package being used. So in this case, N is a plastic Jordan line package. And the bit in the middle of a TTL device is the speed family. There are many TTL speed families, L, LS, ALS, etc. So there's quite a lot to choose from. So generally, when you're searching for devices, ignore the prefix, ignore the suffix, and simply search for the bit in the middle. Okay, so that's a general rule of thumb that works. So if we go back to our device here, so here we can do a CD4001, and you can see that as I'm typing, parts come up in our libraries. So here we can see the CD4001. If we do the SG1543, and you can see there highlighted our devices already in the library. Now, using our rule of thumb before, if we just type in 555, there we have our timer. There's our timer in there. So let's have a look for OP207, and as you can see, it's not in the library, so we're going to have to go and search for this device. Now, if you're looking for just a data sheet, if you want information, you can go back to our device menu and you can use our browse datasheet function. So the browse datasheet function, if we type in 555, there's our 555 device, and here's a datasheet. So that's already in our library. All the devices we add to our library will contain a datasheet. So where do we go to find our data sheets? Now, here, use your favourite web browser. All Datasheet is a pretty comprehensive website, one that I use. A Datasheet archive is another one that I use quite frequently. Usually my first port of call, for no other reason than I've used it for years, is the Digichip. Pretty comprehensive. They're all pretty much of a muchness. It's just your personal preference. And you look for OP207. You can see that I've searched for this one already. I'm not looking for a supplier, I'm looking for a data sheet. So I click data sheet and I click search, and away it goes. And here you see many different versions of that data sheet, and again you can see A, B, E, F, So these are probably all different package types. We just click on the top one. We'll ignore the adverts, and then we'll download our datasheet. So here we can see our datasheet. There's our OP207 datasheet. And what we need to do is just click save, and then we'll download this datasheet, and then we can add this to our library, OP207, and there we go. So that's how you find a datasheet. So what we'll do is we'll now, in a future video, show you how easy it is to add this device to our library. So thanks for watching. Hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.